Hello everyone, today in this video we'll be discussing the top 15 most repeated questions. In the previous video I had discussed most of the important questions and the model question paper solutions. The link is in the description box. You can watch that for more repeated questions, and among that these are the 15 most repeated questions. Okay, I had just restricted to 15, so these are the questions, but there are more than 20 questions which are repeated equally as important as this one. So you can watch that video. In that video I had covered almost all those questions. Okay, and if you like this video, show your support to me by hitting the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, so I think we can get started with the topic. So in the first module, the first question is about the elif statement, for, while, break, continue. Okay, these come under the flow control statements. Okay, so what you are supposed to write is what do these statements mean? That's the first thing you will write. See, it's for 10 marks, right? So what you have to do, you have to just write for what do these statements mean, and by an example you have to explain. Okay, like for example, if I talk about elif comes after if. Okay, so first you have to explain what is if else, then you have to explain what is elif. Okay, so you'll be writing about the if statements. Either the condition will be if or else it is to be executed, but if there are multiple possibilities, for example, if you got some grade in your exam, okay, like the grade is like it will be A if your marks is between 90 to 100, and your grade will be B if your marks is between 80 to 90, and so on. Okay, so there are multiple possibilities. In that case, what you will use, if my marks is means the grade which I got is A, then my marks is this much. Else if I got B, my marks is this much. So instead of else if in other languages, we will be using here elif. Okay, that is what I have to explain. So you can give an example. The elif is a statement that is always follows an if or another elif statement. Okay, yeah, elif comes after an if statement or another elif statement. Okay, like for example, if name is equal to Alice, then print hi Alice. Okay, elif, if the age is less than 12, then you are not Alice. Okay, like that we have to give an example. And the same thing you have to do for all the other ones, for, while, break, and continue. So let's quickly go through the statements what I have written here. So for statement, to execute a block of code. Okay, to execute a block of code only a certain number of times. We don't have to execute until a condition becomes false. Only if I have to execute like 5 number of times. Okay, for example, if I have to print my name 5 number of times, I'll be using a for loop for I is equal to 0, and it should run till 5. Okay, so I'll be printing my name. So that's what happens. It will run 5 times and it will print the name. Okay, so here the for keyword is used, and the variable name is used like I, and in keyword is used. So in the Python we will be using for I in range. So in is the keyword here, and a call to the range function. Range function means from 0 to 5. If I mention here 5, it will run from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just till 4 it will run. It will not run till 5. Okay, so that's what we have to write here, and a colon will be there after the ending, and that's the top level means the first code here. And starting with the next line, an intended block of the code. Indentation is very important, otherwise it will be considered as a different line of code. If it is having an indentation here, it means it is under this line of code. Okay, that's what the example you have to give, and write the output what you are getting here. Okay, that was about the for loop. And in the while loop also, it will execute as long as the condition is true. So where do we find the condition in while loop? That's in the top. Like after while, we will write a condition followed by a colon, then do the indentation and write whatever you want to execute. Okay, like I is equal to 0, while I is less than 5, then write a colon here, then leave a space here for indentation, then means write your code here. Okay, so what it will print is, in the 0th iteration it will print hello world, like that till the 5th iteration it will print hello world. Okay, because I is getting incremented, when it becomes 5, this will not be executed. That's what about the while condition. And about the break. Break means if you are in a while loop, at that time if you encounter a break statement, it will come out of the while loop. Okay, for example, see here, while true, so it is getting executed infinitely. Okay, so you have here while loop, and this is getting executed, means this is the while loop. Okay, by the indentation you should understand. Now please type your name. So the name will be taken in the input. So after that it will be checking name is equal to your name. So whatever name you mean, the condition you put here, if that matches the name which you have inputted, at that time it will break. Else it will keep on asking the person what is your name. Okay, so that's what happens, and after it breaks, it will come out of the while loop and it will get printed like thank you. Okay, about the continuous statement, it's just like the break statements. Continuous statements are used inside the loops where the current iteration will be skipped. Okay, what I mean is, suppose take an example here where I is equal to 0. while true means it's a infinite loop. So here what happens, if I is less than 5, increment I and continue. If I is less than 5, increment I and continue. What is the value of I initially? It's 0. So incrementing I becomes 1, then it becomes 2, then 3, then 4. Then when it becomes 5, it will not enter this loop, but it will come here. If I is equal to 5, print yes. So whenever my condition was like I is less than 5, I incremented I, then I did continue. Continue means just skip this part of code and move on to the next iteration. If it was break statement, what will happen? It will come out of this while loop. It will not get executed once more. Okay, that's what the difference between break and continue. So what you have to write, one definition means explain in your own words what does this statement mean, and give an example. All right, that's what you have to do in this question. Moving on to the second important question, which is how can we pass the parameters in the user defined function. See, the main concept is they are testing you know about user defined function or not. That's the main thing. So what you're supposed to write is, it's for 5 marks. So what you're supposed to write, the definition of user defined function, then how can you pass parameters. Okay, first give the syntax of this, then how can you pass parameters in a user defined function, and give a suitable example explaining the same. Okay, so let's go and see how it actually works. So user defined function means what? You are defining your own function that can accept arguments also. So here you have hello. So it is a without a argument. Okay, means hello is there and nothing is present here. So what it does is, whenever you call hello, it will print hello, hey, how are you. Okay, so hello is getting called here, so it the execution comes here, and this is getting printed, hey, how are you. Okay, and in case the arguments are there, what do I mean by arguments? Argument means variables passed in the function's definition. So here if name is passed, so what will happen, whenever I call hello, along with that I should pass some name. This name will get stored here in the variable name, and wherever this name is used in the means the definition of function, in that case hello, then that name which I passed here, that will be substituted here. So what will be printed is hello Alice. See, Alice I passed here, it gets stored here, and it was substituted here, and it got printed hello, the name was Alice. Okay, that's what about the user defined functions which you have to write. The 3 things you have to write: first define what is user defined function and give a syntax for without arguments, then how can you pass the arguments, that you have to write here and explain it using an example. That's sufficient for 5 marks. Okay, moving on to the third important question, which is about local and global scope with the local and global variable. Here see 8 marks is there. So the things they have asked are 4 things. Okay, what is local scope, what is global scope, what is local variable, and what is global variable. Okay, so 4 things you have to define. For each you will get 2 marks. Okay, so for each definition you're getting 2 marks. Local variable, what is local variable? Parameters and variables that are assigned in a function means that are assigned in a function are said to exist in that function's local scope. Okay, that I'll be giving an example, you will understand more. But local means what? It is inside a function. If there is a function, if I declared a variable a and the function ends here, and a cannot be accessed at this point. Okay, at this point a cannot be accessed. So what is the scope of a? Scope of a is this much. So that is known as local variable. A is a local variable. What about global scope? Global scope means a is declared here and not here. So I can use a at this point as well, right? Because a is here, it does not depend on the function scope. It can be used here as well. This is known as global scope. And in global scope, the variables are declared outside all the other functions. Okay, so that's what about the global scope and the local scope. And what is the local and global variable? It's the same thing. A local variable is one which is declared in the local scope. Global variable is the one which is declared in the global scope. Okay, so give an example here. So for I in range 10, so I will run from what number to what number? I will run from 0 to 9, right? So each time I'm doing some mathematical operation here and printing I. So what is the scope of I? I is in between this only, right? So I is the local scope. This is known as local variable. I is in the local scope and I is the local variable. Okay, same thing goes for j as well. For j in range 5, print j. J is the local, j's local scope is this much, i's local scope is this much. I and j are local variables. Now coming to global variables, declare I here. Okay, and for x in range I, so I can be used here as well as here, because it's declared outside all the other functions, right? So that's the global variable, and here j is the local variable. Okay, just to give the difference. So that's what you have to explain for 8 marks. Give the definitions for 4 things and the examples for 4 things. Okay, Moving on to the module 2, we have the first question, what is a list? See, in module 2 we have three topics, which is about the list, dictionary, and the third one is string, right? So you have to be thorough with what do these topic mean, and the functions which they use, and some of the important questions are which I am going to discuss here from each topic. What is the most important one? If you want more questions, you have watched that previous video. In that I have explained like at least 4 to 5 questions from each topic. Okay, so what is a list, and explain the append, insert, and remove methods. Okay, these are 3 important methods from the topic list. What is a list? List is just like an array. Okay, so a list is a value that contains multiple values in ordered sequence. So what does multiple value mean? There are multiple items here. Okay, these are arranged in a ordered sequence. Okay, that is known as a list. The term list value refers to the list itself. It does not refer to the list items. Okay, means if I tell about a list like that, list value, what does list value means? The whole list, and inside that are the list items, but the list value means the whole list, not the individual items. So these are 2 things you have to write about the list, like definition and some more details about it. And you can give an example like this. A list value looks like cat, bat, rat, and elephant. Okay, so here 4 items are there. These 4 items are arranged in ordered sequence, and these are under the square brackets. Okay, so these are the 4 items which is the list made up of. Okay, so some of the functions which got to be performed on list are append, insert, and remove. These are 3 functions which they have asked to explain the methods with an example. So that's what we have written here. For from 8 marks, I think 2 marks for the definition, and for 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks. Okay, so it will be 8 marks. So what you have to write for 2 marks in each of these functions? First, write what does this function do. Write an example. 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this. Okay, so append, to add the new values to the list, we use the append and the insert methods. So there are 2 methods to add the new values to the list. Suppose that this is the list here, and you have 3 items here, and if you want to add another item here, that can be done by using how many methods? 2 methods, append and insert. So by using append you can insert, as well as using insert you can insert. So how can we use 2 methods here? What do these different, or how does it is different from each other? Okay, so let's first consider about the append. So suppose that the array is here which has 3 items, cat, dog, and bat. This is the list which has 3 items. Okay, so what we are going to append is mouse. What does append means? Append means it will come and sit here after all the other items. So the output will be like this. Coming to insert, this is the same thing. It takes the 2 values, index value and the what is the value to be inserted. What I mean is, suppose that this is the array which has cat, dog, and bat. If I insert chicken in one position at that time, which is the first position, this is the first position. So chicken will come and sit here. Okay, behind the first position. So chicken will be in the index 1. So this is the final array. These are the index values 0, 1, 2, 3. And where is chicken? Chicken is in the first position. So this is about the insert operation which I have to explain. The last one which they had asked is which one? Remove. So remove of operation, what does it do? It will delete. Okay, so how it is different from the other functions like the delete function is, remove method is passed the value to be removed from the list. Okay, it takes the value which is to be removed from the list. For example, if my list has 4 items, cat, bat, and rat, and elephant. If I want to remove bat, okay, like I'll just pass remove bat, spam.remove bat. So it will remove bat from the list, and the final list will be cat, rat, and elephant. Okay, moving on to the second question, which is about discuss the get item and keys and values dictionary method with an example. Here also you have to do the 4 things. Give the means what is the meaning of the given methods, and what is the example for it. Okay, you can get started with the dictionary type. So what is dictionary? It has the key value pairs. So it is a mutable collection of many values. So here what happens is you can use the different values. Okay, what I mean is, in the list what happens, you have like for example 4 items A, B, C, and D. Okay, so you'll have the index values for it, right? So if you want to fetch like B, at that time what you will do, if the list, suppose the name of the list is ls. Okay, so if you type like ls of 1, what will get printed? B. In the same way what we can use is, instead of 1 here, if I want like a car name, okay, for example if I like want here like Toyota, and I want here Ferrari, I want here Lamborghini, and I want here like another car name, okay, like Mercedes. So if I want to output like ls of Ferrari, at that time B should get printed. So for that we'll be using dictionary. So how it differs is, in dictionary you will have a curly braces here. Okay, this is the format of it, and here you will have the car name. Okay, and what does it point to, like B. and for this you will have like Toyota points to A, and here you have Lamborghini points to C. Okay, so like that you will have other values. This is the key value pairs. These all are known as items. So you will be writing here, like if the dictionary name is D, you will be writing D of Ferrari. I want what is the key pointed by what is the value pointed by Ferrari. So if I pass a Ferrari, I'll get B here. So that is the dictionary. So these are known as keys, the Ferrari, Toyota and Lamborghini, these are known as keys, and the values are B, A and C. Okay, these are key value pairs. This is known as items, and get means to get some item, like get of Toyota, then I'll get A. Okay, like that. This what we have to explain here using examples. So instead of indexes, we will have different data types there, like you can have either the numbers like the normal indexes, or you can have the other names also, or you can have boolean values like true or false, or many other things. Okay, so that is the keys, and each has the value associated with it, which is known as key value pair. So in a code, dictionary is typed in the curly braces. So for example, there is a dictionary here, my cat. Okay, so in my cat, how many items you can find? Size, which is associated with the size here, and the color, and what is the disposition. So these are the keys. So suppose that you want to get the disposition, so what you will write? My cat, then in the brackets you will write disposition. Okay, like you will write here disposition, then what answer you will get? Loud. This was not possible in list, because in list, in this place you can just write the numbers. What is the index value of loud? That index value can only be written. But if you want the custom value, like a different data type, like a string value in the place of this, then you have to use dictionary. Okay, that's what the difference between the list and dictionary. And what are keys? So for we'll be using a for loop for k in mycat.keys. Mycat.keys will fetch how many values? Size and color and disposition. These three values will come and store in a range function. So 1, 2, 3. So for k in each of these values, first k will be this one, then it will be this one, then it will be this one. What I mean is k will be size first, then k will be color, then k will be disposition. So we are printing k. So what should be printed? Size, color and disposition. Okay, size, color and disposition will be printed. So keys is the function for that purpose. Mycat.keys will fetch just the key values. In the same way, you can just fetch the values what are the values of it by using the values function. So only the values will be printed, fat, gray and loud. Okay, the items value will print the items, means in the items what will be fetched is the whole thing. This is one item, item number 1, item number 2 and item number 3. So these three items will be stored in I value in each iteration, and I will be printed, means size comma fat will be printed, then color comma gray, then disposition comma loud will be printed. That is for the items function. Okay, and the last one is about the get method. So get method means what? Let me explain you the example here. So in get method, suppose that you have a array picnic items. In picnic items you have apples. How many apples are there? 5 apples. How many cups are there? 2 cups are there. Okay, so I don't have any like pancakes. So for example, if I output like pancake, and what is the dictionary name? Picnic item. So picnic item of pancake. At that time, do I have any pancakes? No, I don't have any pancakes. So instead of outputting like error, what I should output is 0. So how can I make sure it outputs 0? If you use normally like the fetching method, like if you just write picnic items of pancake, it will not output anything, because pancake is not there, it will throw an error. Okay, so instead of that, what I will do is I'll use the get function. In the get function, what happens? See here, see the example here is picnic items dot get cups, and here it will be 0. So what will happen is, if I don't have any item here, so the cups is not present in the picnic items. Cup is present in the picnic item, so it will be printing 2. So this was the wrong example. So if I take like for example here pancake. Okay, pancake, what will output is pancake is not there. So in case it is not there, instead of error, it should output this number which I specify here. So if I output like picnic item dot get pancakes comma 0, at that time it will check pancake is there here, no, here also it's no. So what should output is this number, so 0 will be output. Okay, so that's what we use the get method for. So get method is that takes 2 arguments, the key and the value to retrieve, and the fallback value to return if the key does not exist. So what is the key I am passing here? Cups. If the cups does not exist, what is the fallback value it should return. The fallback value is the second argument. The first argument is the key and the second argument is the fallback value. That's what you have to explain in this question. So moving on to the next one, list out all the useful string methods with code snippets and explain each with an example. So how many marks they have asked, based on that you have to explain that many functions. So how many marks? 10 marks, right? For that you have to explain at least 5 string methods. You can explain more than that, but at least 5 should be there. Okay, so what are the useful string methods? So basically what is a string? String is nothing but the letters written within a quotes. Okay, this is a string. So what are the functions and the methods you can perform on strings? So first you have to give a brief information. Several string methods analyze string and create transformed string values. So there is a string here. If you perform some operation on it, a different string will be output. That's what they have mentioned here. Some of the commonly used string methods are this one. Okay, these are the easier ones. You can go with other as well. Like this, the upper, lower, is upper, is lower, and starts with and ends with. Okay. If you want more information on this, I have explained means all the string methods in the other video. You can watch that. And for this video, just 5 you learn. Okay, what is the upper method? Upper means it checks if all the letters in the upper means the letters are uppercase or not. Okay, for example, if the word is hello world, at that time I will be checking spam.upper. Spam.upper means all the letters here are in uppercase or not. Are they in uppercase? No, they are not. So what will output is false. Okay, sorry, not that one. Here it is just the upper. It just converts all the letters to uppercase. Okay, here it's different. That is the is upper. Okay, that we'll be discussing later. Upper means it just converts all the letters to uppercase. So hello world is here. Spam.upper means it will convert all to uppercase, and that will be stored in spam. And if I output that, I'll get all the letters in the uppercase. Okay, same thing goes for lower. It converts all the letters to lowercase. So this word will be converted to lowercase. So hello world will be printed with lowercase. And is upper means it checks if the letters are in uppercase. So in this case, in this word, can you find all the letters in uppercase? No. So false is the output. In case I have a word here, dot is upper, and in this word all the letters are uppercase, so it will output true. Is lower means the reverse, which checks if it's in the lower case. It prints true or false based on that. Okay. And the next one is the starts with and ends with. Starts with means it just checks the string starts with a particular word or not. For example, if I have hello world here and I have dot starts with hello. Does hello world start with hello? Yes. So true output. Then the next one, the next possibility, hello world dot ends with world. Does it end with world and an exclamation mark? Yes. So it will output as true. If I have some other word here like x, does it end with x? No. So the output will be false, and the same goes here as well. Okay. Coming to module 3, the most important question is write a Python program to detect phone number and email address using the regular expression. Okay, this for 9 marks. Okay. So here you have to mainly write the phone regular expression. So let me explain you what it is. Okay. So how many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. So 6 lines are there. So what is the format of a number? The format which they have used is the American format. So how will it be? First you will have the area code. Okay. So area code, for example, it is like 7. Okay. So here area code is repeated 3 times. Okay. So it is repeated 3 times. So area code will be like 776, and a separator will be there like a dash. Then first 3 digits 544. Then again you will have 4 digits, I guess, after a separator. So here you will have 4 digits. This is the format of a American number. Keeping in mind the same format you have to write in the exam. Okay. So what you will be writing here is this thing. First it starts from area code. Okay. So what is /d? /d means digits, right? In the regular expression, /d means digits. So digits, how many should be there? 3 digits should be there, right? That's what they have explained here. And either area code can be like this, 444, then you have something here, or it can be within a bracket as well. So that possibility should also be included. So this is first possibility, and there is an OR operator here. After that, this is the next possibility. In next possibility, what you have? First is this one. This means a bracket, and here you have the digit. How many times it should be repeated? 3 times. So you'll have 444, and the ending is also with a slash bracket. That means a bracket is included here, and that is closed here. Okay. So this is included either 0 or 1 time. Okay, means it's optional. Okay, it's not necessary that you include the area code, so it can be skipped as well. So you have a question mark here which repeats 0 or 1 time. Okay, so that's what that was about the area code. And the separator can be either like a space, /s is a space, or it can be a dash, or it can be a dot. So either of these can be used as a separator. And the next one is 3 digits, so /d repeated 3 times, and another separator space hyphen or dot, and the last one is the 4 digits, so digit will have 4 times repeated. And this is the extension. If you want, you can skip this one, but if you want, I can explain as well. So here you have a space here which is repeated 0 or more times. Then ext is used like extension. After the phone number, sometimes extension will be written, right? Extension, or you can write even x, or you can write ext and dot. So you'll have ext dot. You can use either of these. And after that, what should be used is either a space can be repeated 0 or more times. Then you have a digit 2 to 5. So if there is an extension here like 567. So you'll have 567 like this. So it can repeat between 2 numbers till 5 numbers. You can have 5 numbers also like 1 4. So this can be used after the phone number is written like 444 dot 666 and dot and another 4 digits. And after that you can write optional extension. Since it's optional, you have question mark here. It can be repeated 0 or 1 time. And the remaining 2 lines which I have not explained is this one and this one. So what does it do is we have just created a RE is nothing but import RE. That's a module. Okay, import RE is a module, so we are using that module here, and the function which we are using is the compile function of that module. And we have R here. R is the raw string, so we have to include that. And instead of writing this all in a single line, it will be very hard to understand. So what we do is we will be separating this into different lines. And since you are separating it into different lines, one thing you have to mention is that since it's separated, you have to mention that separation. How you will mention is by using re.verbose. Re.verbose means if you include this, it is valid to write it in this form. If you don't include this, this will be an invalid form. Okay, for that we are just using re.verbose, and this is the raw string. So triple quotes because you have used multiple lines here, so triple quotes are there. And yeah, that's it. So phone regular expression will be stored in this one, and you can use phone regular expression to find out something in a text. For example, there is a text here. Okay, there is a text here, and the text name is a.txt. Okay, in a.txt you will be calling a file object and you will be storing here in a, and then you will be finding phone regex dot search or find all in a. So whatever phone regex has been given the information, means how you have to search. The rules have been given like the phone number rules and all. So that phone number rules will be applied in text A, and whatever answer you get here, means the matching patterns here, that will be selected and that will be stored in a separate list. So you have to write here is equal to some list name. So all the fetched values will be stored in the list. That's what about the phone number. Same thing goes for email as well. So let me explain you in quickly what happens here. Username can be either small letters from A to Z. Okay, can be either small letters from A to Z or capital letters from A to Z, or the numbers from 0 to 9, or it can have a dot, means underscore, percentage, plus and minus. So this can be repeated 1 or more times. At least something should be there in username, so at least one time any of these letters should be there. Okay, that was the first thing. Then @ symbol should be there, and here is the domain name which can be like a Gmail, and after that dot is there. Okay, dot or any other letter can also be there, and after that com should be there. After the dot, here by using these letters you have to write com, .co.org, .co.uk. okay, so those things you have to write. And 2 to 4 means that word here, like co is 2 letters, com is 3 letters, that should be between 2 and 4 letters. That's what about the email. And same thing you can do here also. Take a text, search in the text, whatever it gets find here, that you have to store in a list and output that answer in the output. Okay, so that's what you have to do in the email and the phone regex question. So just have to write the phone regex. The most marks is for this one only, the definition of this one. Okay, so if you did not get this one, you can always replay and watch again. So where you have doubt, you can watch that again. Okay, so that was about the first question. The second is, what is regular expression? Describe question mark star plus and dot regex symbol with suitable Python code snippet. Okay, so what all they have asked, note down that. The first thing they have asked is what is regular expression. Okay, second thing is we have to describe 4 things: question mark, star, plus and dot regex symbol. So it can be either for 8 to 10 marks. So I forgot to mention here. So anyways, what is the regular expression? Regular expression means it's the regex for short or the description for a pattern of text. Regular expression is description for pattern of text. That is the definition for that, and give an example here. Like for example, /d in the regex stands for the digit character that is a single numeral from 0 to 9. /d means it represents what? Digits. So digits can be from 0 to 9. So this is a regular regex symbol. Okay, that's the definition and the example for regular expression. That's what you have to write for 2 marks. And what is the 4 things they have asked? Question mark, star, plus and dot. So 4 things, write the definition for it and give an example. For example, what do you mean by question mark? Sometimes there is a pattern that you want to match only optionally, like either 0 or 1 time. That is for that we will be using question mark. Okay, so here is an example. Bat regex is equal to re.compile r, then bat, after wo there is a question mark, then man. So what do you mean by question mark? Either the text which I am searching this can have wo or cannot have wo. Both the output both the cases output should be printed. So that's text which I am searching is the adventures of Batman. So here, do I have wo in between bat and man? No. That can also be printed. Why? Because 0 or 1 time should be printed. So what I am getting the output is Batman, because that's the matching string. Suppose that I have here Batwoman. So here wo is repeated once. Okay, so that's the valid pattern, because question mark means 0 or 1 time. That is getting printed here in the final output, 0 or 1 time. Okay, and coming to star, star means it can have 0 or more. Okay, either 0 or more. Okay, so the group precedes the star in the can occur any number of times in the text. So what is the text which precedes the star? This is the star, and wo is the text preceding the star. So here what happens, wo can be repeated 0 or more times, like 1 time also, 2 time also, and more than that also. All should be the valid output. So here I have adventures of Batman. This is the matching text. I am printing here Batman, and suppose that instead of this I had here like bat, wo 2 times repeated, and man. What do you think it will be printed? This will be printed in the text instead of Batman if it was there. Yes, obviously it will be printed. Why? Because wo can be repeated n number of times. Here it's repeated 2 times, it's a valid string. So here the output will be this same string. Okay, that was about the star. And plus means 1 or more, at least once it should be there. Okay, so here I have here bat, and wo plus means at least 1 time wo should be there, and more than that also is possible. So here if I have Batwoman, it will be printed. So if I have just Batman, it will not be printed. Why? Because wo must be repeated at least once. That's what the plus is, 1 or more. Plus is what? 1 or more. Okay, 1 or more. And coming to dot, dot means match everything. Okay, dot means means all the letters will be matched. Okay, for example, you can use the dot star to stand for anything. Okay, so suppose that I have here like first name, then dot star, then last name dot star. So I have to like search in the text. Okay, suppose that let's take an example here. Here are the list of the employees of a company. So this is the employee sheet, and here I have the first name, last name. Okay, first name, last name, something is written here, and after that, after some gap here, I have another first name and last name. So what I want to just fetch is what is the first name and last name of the employees, employee 1, employee 2. So how will I do that is, I'll first search where is first name written, and after that whatever is the name that should be printed. So how can I use that? I'll be writing here first name. So what will be matched first is first name, then we have a colon here, and after that dot star. Dot can match anything. Anything means it can be a digit, special symbol, or any letter, or any dot, anything it can be. Okay, so whatever is here, that will be matched here. After that last name will be searched, and what is the last name, that will be matched. For example, I have here first name this one and last name this one. So these two things will be matched here, because dot star will match anything after this one. So AI is the valid letter. So mo dot group 1, in group 1 AI will be stored, and in group 2 sweetheart will be stored. Okay, so that's what dot star matches everything. Okay, so for most of the questions you have to write 2 things here. Whenever they ask for something, write the definition of it, give an example. That's for 2 marks. Okay, coming to the third question, we have 2 sub questions here. Explain in detail the file reading and writing process with an example of Python program, and a code snippet explaining the saving variables using shelve module and pprint.pformat. These two are interrelated. Either they can ask this question or they can ask this question as well. Okay, so both are equally important. So let's see the first question. What is it is asking? Explain in detail the file reading and writing process. So in this question we have to write the definition of it and the syntax for it, as well as the example Python program. So let's see how can we approach this question. There are 3 steps in writing or reading of files in Python. So what are the 3 steps? Call the open function, okay, to return a file object. First you have to open the file and store that in a file object. Suppose that this is the file here. You will use a open function to open this file, and a file object will be associated with it. This will be file object. This will be stored in a file object, and all the operations perform on file objects. I am repeating, all the objects, all the functions are performed on file objects only, not on the direct file. This is very important. Okay. So you have a file object ready with you. Then what you have to do? Using the file object, you can do 2 things: either read function or write function. So after doing the read and write function, what you have to do? You have to close the file object by using the close method. Okay. Open the file, associate it with the file object, do the redirect operation. After that, close the file object using close method, and that's the reading writing process for files. So you have to give the syntax for each of these and example. So let's see what is the syntax. Opening a file, hello file, open this path I have specified here in the computer. If you go and write this path here, at that time what is the file stored, that will be selected, and that will be associated with an object known as hello file. So in hello file you have the object of this file. Okay. So how you will do the reading writing operation? Hello file, this is the object which I have initialized here. This is the same object. Dot read. If I want to read the content, I'll write dot read, and whatever the reading happens in the file, like suppose I have like here numbers and letters, that numbers and letters will be stored in hello content. So hello content, if I print, it will print what is the content of the file. That's how you perform the read operation. Very simple. Take the file URL, store it in an object here, use that object to read the content, store that content, and print that content. The same thing goes for write as well. If you want to write, use that same object name, dot write, whatever you want to write, and after that, if you read the file, you will get the content which you have written as well. Along with hello world, you will get this is computer science. Okay. Finally, you got to close the file, so you will write hello file dot close. That was about the first sub part of the question. The second sub part is the shelve module and the pprint. 2 things they have asked. Okay. Shelve module and pprint.pformat. So the main purpose of using these 2 modules is saving variables. Okay. So define what do these functions mean, and how can you save the variables using a code snippet. Okay. So let's see how to approach this question. Okay, it's for 6 marks. So firstly, what you have to write is you can save some variables in the Python programs to binary shelve files using the shelve module. So what is the shelve module used for? Saving the variables in the binary shelve files. Okay. In this way, your program can restore the data to the variables from the hard drive. Okay, just we are saving the variables. So it's a bit different approach. Let's see what is the difference in this one. Okay. So here is the first part of the code. You are saving the variables and then you are retrieving it. This was the shelve module. So let's see what we are doing initially. Import the shelve module here, and after that we will be using shelve.open. Shelve is the module imported and the function is open and my data. You can think of my data is a cupboard name. This is a cupboard in home, right? That cupboard name is my data. Okay. So my data is the cupboard name, and inside the cupboard you will have many shelves. Like that in the kitchen you will write plates, right, and glasses and spoons and all. So those things are same in the computer as well. Okay. So my data is the cupboard name, and you are opening that cupboard. After that you are assigning a shelf here. So before storing the things here, like if you have a set of plates, the plate name is Zophie, Poca and Simon. Okay, you have 3 plates in your home, and these plates you have to store in the shelf. If you just simply store in the shelf, it will get means damaged, right? So what you will do, you will put it in a packet, and that packet name will be cats. That packet name will be cats, and you will store the plates here in the shelf. Same thing we are doing here also. The 3 cat name is here. The cat names are stored in a cats list, so that list will be stored in the shelf. So how you will store is by using shelf file. This shelf file is nothing but the object of this, the cupboard data which I have opened, dot cats. Cats is the name which I have stored here, that will be having the cats here. Okay, so this is the cupboard. In the cupboard I will have the cats here, that will be stored as cats, and that should be referenced by a name. That name is cats here. So this shelf name is cats. When I want to fetch, I can call cats from my data cupboard, and then I'll get the values here. So let's see how to get the values. Okay, to get the values, here is the my data. Okay, my data is here, shelf file of cats. So it will search for cats in this one. Here will be many other things, and he'll be searching for cats. Where is cats? Cats is here. So what should be output? This one. In this I had 3 names here. The 3 names will be output: Zophie, Poca and Simon. Okay, cool. You remember in this way it will be in your memory for longer time. Okay. The next one is the pprint.pformat. There is the same thing here. Using the pprint.pformat, you will give will give you a string that you can write to a Python file. Okay. So this file will be your own module. You can import anywhere you want and use the variable stored in it. So let's see what it means. So import pprint is the function which you have to write, and create a dictionary here within a list. This is the list here. Inside that dictionary is there name Zophie, description Chubby, name Poca and description Fluffy. 2 items are there in the list. This is the first item, this is the second item. Both are dictionaries. So list have, this is the list which has 2 dictionary item D1, D2. Okay, and in D1, D2, D1 is nothing but this one, D2 is nothing but this one. After that you will be writing here pprint.pformat cats. So you are doing pformat. What does that mean is, it will convert this list into a string. So list will be converted to a string here. This whole is a string now. Okay, one string, and that string will be written in another file like mycats.py. First you are opening this file in the write mode, and that you are storing in the file object. mycats.py is opened in a file mode, and that is getting associated with the file object. So file object has which file? mycats. So this has a file. Okay, then what we are writing to that file? In that file, this is the file. What we are writing is cats is equal to, so it will write cats is equal to, after that pprint.pformat cats. Pprint.pformat cats, what it will output? This one. This will be written in the file. Cats is equal to, then the whole thing will be written here, and then a new line. So this is written here. Now how can I retrieve it? So since I have written in a file called mycats, mycats is the module which I have to import. After I import this one, then mycats.cats. mycat.cats is, it will search for where is cats here, that is cats is equal to this one. So cat is the name which I have used to store here the list. So whenever I call this one from the file, whatever is associated with that, that will be printed. So that's what the pprint.pformat is used for fetching what I have stored as a string. Okay, so this will be printed. If I print like mycats of 0, so as I told earlier, what does cats contain? 2 dictionary items D1 and D2. So if I print like 0, 0 means this should be printed D1, that is nothing but name Zophie and description Chubby. And if I have more deeper like cats of 0 and name, inside that name what is there, that will only be printed, which is Zophie. Okay, so recapping what you have to write in the answer. The first thing is, what is the shelf module? You can save the variables in the shelf. Explain with an example, like remember that cupboard example, and first save the values, then fetch the values. Same thing goes for pformat. Write what is pformat. It is used to convert the dictionary data and the list data into a string, save it into a file, then retrieve it. So here you are initializing a list here, saving that into a file, writing that into a file here, then fetching that file value using the name cats which are stored with, and you are fetching the individual values. Okay, that's what you have to explain for, like it will be like 6 to 8 marks. Okay, coming to the next question, this is very important one. And another question was an assertion. If you want, you can have a look in that as well, that's also important. But since I have restricted to 15 questions, since I have restricted this video to 15 questions, so just I have skipped this one. Okay, but this is also very important. Okay, so make sure you watch this one as well. So along with that, in January 2021 question paper, these 3 questions were in a single means or question. Okay, so let's have a discussion. These are the repeated ones in the other paper as well. So let's see what are the answers. So first is the shutil module with an example. Explain the functions of shutil module with an example. That's for 8 marks. Okay, so how many functions have to explain? 4 functions. Okay, what does shutil module mean? Shell utilities. Okay, so it can has the function that let you copy, move, rename and delete. These are the 4 functions you have to explain using an example. So let's see what is the first one? Copy. How can you copy an files using the shutil module? That's the first question. So just give the definition of this one. What does copying file means? It's means that from one directory path to other directory path, making a copy of it and storing it. That's the copying of file and folder. So how can you do it? Using shutil.copy, and the syntax is source to destination. What you are copying and where you are storing, that two should be specified. Okay, so this is the example which you have to give. Import shutil and comma os. So two modules are imported, shutil and os, and from pathlib import path. Path is also imported. So first what you are taking, the path, the current path. Suppose that you are in a file in your computer, there is a file here, but you don't know what the path is. So since you are present at this location, you can use path.home to fetch the path of current file, which means the URL present here, right? That URL will be fetched and stored in P. After that, you will be copying the current path spam.txt. There is a file here in that current path spam.txt, and where you are storing means copying to P comma some folder. So some folder you are specifying inside the same directory here. There is another folder like X here. So this file will be copied in the folder X as well. So here is the source from where you are copying, and this is the destination where you are storing. Okay, that was about the first one, which is copying. Okay, so next one is about move function and rename function. So move function and rename function are interrelated. So what does move mean? From which source you are moving to which destination. It's same as copying, but here you will not make two different copies, but the same thing will be moved from one place to another place. Okay, so here is a logic which you need to keep in mind. So what you have to keep in mind is, suppose that you are in a folder here. Okay, so this folder is X and this folder is Y. Now if you want to move a file here which is present here, that will be moving directly here. Okay, but what you are doing is you just want to rename the file. So what you will do is, you will specify this path here. Okay, this file is present here, and you will move to the same path here with a different name. So what happens is, this file will be moved to here, but with a different name it will be stored. That is the rename operation. For the move operation, you will be moving this file. For the rename operation, you will be specifying the same path and saving with a different name. So what is the syntax for it? The syntax will be as follows. So calling shutil.move will move a file or folder at a path or a source to the path destination, and will return a string of the absolute path to the new location. It will store the file, it will return the absolute path of the new location. So for the moving, this is the syntax. Import shutil c backend.txt is equal to c x. So backend.txt will be stored in the folder X. Okay, and for renaming, backend.txt is equal to x new backend.txt. So what will happen is, for the renaming, it will get moved to this location, and the new name file, the file's new name will be this one. Okay, since I have specified a file name here, how can a file be moved to another file? Means this is a file here. If it is to be moved to another file, not folder, moved to another file. So what does that mean? This file is rewritten in this file. So it will just rename this file. Okay, so that's how the renaming works. And the last one is the deleting files. You have some variations here. The first one is the unlink. Okay, so it will delete the file at the path. So if I specify a path here, that will delete the file at that path by using os.unlink. os.rmdir, that will delete the folder at that path. This for the file, this for the folder. For the file you will use unlink, for the folder you will use rmdir. And shutil.rmtree path, this will remove the folder at a path, and all the files and the folders containing will also be deleted. So suppose that there is a folder here, inside that many folders are also there, file is also there. Okay, so if I do shutil.rmtree and the path of this folder is specified, at that time what will happen? All these folders and files will also be deleted. Okay, so the syntax for it is as follows. Import os, will be using os as well as path. So path.home, so the file name in all the path, the current directory, .txt, which is ending with .txt, that will be selected, and it will be unlinked. So file name consists of the path home along with the .txt file. That file name will be stored in the file name, and all those files will be unlinked. Okay, so this is what you have to write and explain the three functions here, which is the copying, moving and renaming, and the last one is deleting. Okay, Next question is explain the buttons in the debug control window. Very important one. Okay, so let's see how to approach this question. So here what we have, this optional, if you want you can draw, or else you can skip this one as well. The main thing is you have to write the following key points. If you can remember these key points, it's easy. Okay, so here the key points for the remembrance I have drawn here: stop, continue, step in, step over, and step out. These are the 5 things you have to compulsorily mention. Okay, so what do these terms mean? Most of the terms you can define by your own, like what is stop. Stop means stopping the execution, and continue means continuing the debugging, and step over, step in, and step out. The difference is very important. If means you have to remember the difference very importantly. Okay, so how can you remember the difference? So what does continue mean? Continue means clicking the continue button will cause the program to execute normally until it terminates or reaches a breakpoint. So continue just continues the program until it reaches the breakpoint or it terminates. Step in means clicking the step in button will cause the debugger to execute the next line. Okay, so if I am in line 1, if I write step in, it will go to line 2 and then it will pause again. Okay, for that line by line you will use step in. Step over means it will just it is same as the step in, but however if the next line of the code is a function, it will step over the function and come to the next line. For example, if I have 3 lines here, 1, 2, 3, the second line is calling a function f. Okay, the function definition is here. What will happen is if I click step over here, at that time it will come here, it will not go to this line, it will not go to this line, it will execute this whole thing and come back here. That is for step over the function and come back. What about step in? If I click step in here, it will go to the first line of the function and pause again. That's the difference. And the last one is the step out. Step out means it will cause the debugger to execute the line of code at full speed until it returns from the current function. So if you are in the function f and if you click step over, step out, it will execute till the end. If you are in the main function, it will execute till the end. Okay, that is the step out. So after the main function ends, the program will be over. So that's what the step out is used for. And coming to stop usually stops the program from the further debugging. And yeah, that's it. Another thing is the breakpoint. If you want, you can write that as well if you forget any of these points. So breakpoint, what is the breakpoint? You are suppose that this is the code here. Breakpoint means this is the checkpoint. Okay, if you are adding breakpoints, it will execute this till this point and it will pause again. Okay, that's about the breakpoint. Okay, so these are the mainly 5 things are there which you have to explain in the question, and the question is asked for 5 marks. Okay, and what is meant by compressing files? The first question, explain the reading, writing, extracting and creating zip files with code snippet. So this is for 7 marks. First you have to write the definition for 2 marks, and this all are for I guess 2 or 1 mark, so they will get 7 marks. Okay, I think it's 2, 2, 2 and 1 mark. Okay, so it will be 7 marks. So firstly the question which they have asked is what is compressing? Okay, what do you mean by compressing? Compressing means if you have this much big code, if it is compressed, it will be this much. That is known as compressing. You have tried the definition. So compressing a file reduces its size. So the size is getting reduced in the compression, which is useful when transferring it over the internet. So small file getting transferred is easier than transferring big file. That is the compressing files logic. And the 3 things which they have asked is reading, extracting and creating zip file with code snippet. So for that, write the definition, give an example. Okay, for 2 marks you have to do that. Okay, what is reading a zip file? To read a contents of zip file, you must first create a zip file object. See, for whatever you want to read in Python, like let it be a file or a folder or a zip file or any other thing, first you have to create an object, because the functions can only be performed on objects. So first step will always be create an object of it. So in the same way, we'll be creating a zip file object here, and we'll be using that zip file object to read the content. To create a zip file object, you'll use this method, and after the zip file object is created, you will be using it to read the content. So let's see how that works. So import zip file OS from pathlib, import path.home, the current path is present in P. Example zip will be the thing which is getting stored the contents here. So zip file.zip file, this is the zip files means path. So what does this mean is, if you are in a current directory here, this is the URL is stored in p/example.zip. Example.zip is a zip file here present here, so that you are fetching and making an object of it. So example zip is the object of zip file. In the object you will be performing the operations. So example zip dot name list. What does name list function do? It will read the content of zip file. So in zip file you will have many files which is in compressed form. So what are the names of those files? That will be fetched by the name list. Okay, so these are the contents of zip file. Okay, that's how you read the zip files. And coming to extracting from zip files, the extract all method is used for extracting the zip file objects, which extracts all the files and folders from a zip file into the current working directory. So here is a zip file. So what are the contents of it? That will be fetched to the current working directory. Means wherever you extract it, there only it will be fetched. Okay. So this is the syntax. The three things the same as the previous one. Create a zip file object here, example zip, and by using that use the function extract all. So extract all will extract all the files present here, files and folders present in example zip, and that will be stored in example zip. Okay. So I think it's not getting stored, but it will be in the current directory. Okay. So it will be fetched and stored in the current directory. Creating a zip file to means compress any file, first you need to have a zip file object. So you will create a new zip which is stored in new zip. This is the file object, and you will be using this to means see a new zip is a new zip is a file object. In that you will have to use this object to store the compressed objects. So this is the thing which I have to compress, like for example this is my mark sheet. Okay, mark sheet I have to compress and store it in a means somewhere I have to store. Okay, so what I will do, I will pass this mark sheet into new zip object. So I will be using this function new zip dot write. So this will write what it has to write, this one. Where is this stored? Inside the spam text. Okay, so this is stored in the file name, that will be compressed here, and that will be stored somewhere. Okay, so this have to specify the file name and the compressed type, what is the compression type, like zip or PDF or something, and zip dot declared is the format. Okay, so after you do this, what happens, your file will be stored in a zipped format, in a compressed format somewhere. Okay, then you will close the object. And that was about the creating of the zip files, and this code will create a new zip file named new.zip, because that's what I specified here, that has compressed contents of spam text. Okay, create an object, store that means use that object to compress the file, and yeah, that's it. You just have to create an object and compress the file. Okay, so that was about the creating of the file. And coming to the next question, means in the next module we have the first question, what is classes, objects and attributes? Explain the copy.copy with an example. Okay, this is for 6 marks. So I don't know what is the mark distribution, I'm not sure, but what is a class? Class is the instance of a means it's a blueprint or a template from which the objects are created. Okay, class is nothing but you'll have something here like a prototype of a building. Okay, so how should the building be created? That should be specified by a map here, that is a blueprint. So this is the class and this is the object. Okay, the formal definition you have to write, it is a blueprint of the or the template from which objects are created. Give an example here in Python. You will write the class definition as follows: class point, and after that you will write the class object and the functions here, means the members, member functions and the member data type. Okay, an object is the instance of class, means the building which is built after the seeing the blueprint. So that is the object. So here P1 is the object and point is the class. To create an object, this is the syntax, the class name followed by a bracket here, and that will be stored in a P1. So P1 is the object creator of the class point. Okay, and the elements inside the class are called attributes. So in the attributes will add values, like for example in the class point we have the x and y. X is the x means in 2D representation, x value and y value will be there, so that is stored here, that are the attributes. So if there is an object created blank, blank dot x is equal to 3, blank dot y is equal to 4, that will be stored in the blanks x and y attributes. X and y are called the attributes. Okay, then coming to copy function, the copy module contains a function called copy that duplicate any object. Okay, so if I have an object here P1 which has the values of x and y as 3 and 4, if I import copy and do copy.copy, it will copy the P1 value into the P2. Okay. The next question is regarding the
demonstrate pure functions and modifiers with examples. Okay, so what do you mean by pure functions and what do you mean by modifier functions? Two functions you have to define using an example. 4 marks for each. The total is 8 marks. Okay, so what is a pure function, what is a modifier function? First let me give an explanation regarding the difference between both of these, and then we'll be looking at the example. Okay, so what is a pure function? What do you understand by the term pure? Pure means it does not modify. Pure means it is just same as how it was, right? So if there is a function like, for example, add. Okay, add is there and I am passing two numbers here, x and y. So in the output I am writing print xy, means x plus y. Okay, so what will be printed is x plus y sum will be printed. Okay, so do the value of x and y I am changing in the program? No, I am not changing in the program. On the other hand, if I had like add function here and I am passing x and y here, so I am writing like x is equal to x plus y. So do I change the value of x here? Yes, I am changing the value of x here. Therefore, the function is modifier function. What does modifier means? It changes the value. Changes the value of what? Change the value of the objects which I have passed. Only those objects. So first thing what you have to consider is what I am passing here. What I am passing here, does the value of these things get modified or not? That's what you have to focus on. Okay, so if these things get modified, it's known as modifier function. If these things do not get modified in the function, that is known as pure function. Okay, so what will be our approach is just write the definition. Pure functions are those functions that do not modify the parameters passed to the function. Okay, and here's an example. The add time function, I am passing two time objects here, t1 and t2. Then sum is another time object created by using the time class object, and sum.r is equal to t1.r plus t2.r. So in the time object there are three things: hours, minutes and seconds. Okay, so hours is getting added t1.r plus t2.r, that's stored in sum.r, the new object which is created here. Sum.minute is t1 minute plus t2 minute. Sum second is t1 second plus t2 second. Then return sum. Are the values getting changed here? Yes, they are getting changed here, but what value is getting changed? Sum's value is getting changed, but sum, have I passed sum in this place here? Can you find sum here? No, you can't find, right? So this will not be considered. What I am passed here, is this value getting changed here anywhere? No, it's just getting used here to add and store a new value, but the t1 and t2 value is not getting changed anywhere. Therefore the function is pure function. Okay, so write that definition and give an example for it. Okay, and modifier as those function that modifier change the value. For example, here you can see that time and second is getting passed, and time dot second plus is equal to seconds. So times second value is added with the seconds value. So here times value is getting changed, the time which I have passed here. So therefore the function is modifier function. Here also the same thing. If time second is greater than 60, the time second means it's getting changed. What is the minute should be there, second should be there, that is getting modified here. Same thing goes for minute as well. So here the time value which is passed in the arguments, that is getting changed. So this function is known as modifier function. Okay, moving on, we have the next question, which is init function and str method. Okay, init means initialization. Initialization means what? Whenever we create an object, the value should be initialized. Okay, for example, there is a class time here. Okay, first write the definition of it. The init method, short for initialization, is a special method that gets invoked when object is instantiated. Okay, so here we have a class time here. In the class time I have defined init as hour, minute and second. So whatever I pass as hour, minute and second, that will get stored in the object which is getting created. Okay, it's just like a constructor in C and C++. So here the time is the class here, the capital T. So this is the time class name, and I'm passing the value 9. So 9 will be first stored in hours. If I pass two things, the two things will be like if I pass 9, 4, 6, 9 will be stored in hours, 4 will be stored in minutes, 6 will be stored in seconds. So these are the values which I am passing here for the initialization. Initialization of what? Hour, minute and second values inside the object. So if I pass 9 here, 9 will be stored in hours and the rest 2 will be zeros. So if I print time, time dot print time, then it will print 9 since I had passed here 9, and otherwise 0 means by default. So it's the time is printed as 9 o'clock. The str method is a method that is just like init, but it is supposed to return a string representation of an object. Okay, so if in the object you have many things, like for example if you have minute, hour, minute and seconds. Three things are there in your class object, means class definition. If you want to display that, you will be using str. How it should be displayed, that is defined here. Okay, so how many things you have in class time? You have three things: hours, minute and seconds. So I want to represent hour, minutes and seconds whenever I print the object. Means print the object, whatever is present here, that should be output. Okay, so how it should be output is percentage point to d. So percentage means whatever variable I'm passing in, that will be substituted in each percentage place here. So here r will be substituted, here minute, and here second will be substituted. And how many precisions of the decimal should be substituted? 2 decimal should be there, so 0.2 and should be decimal, so it is d. Okay, so I'm passing here in time, I'm passing 9:45, so 9 and 45 will be displayed as such, like how I've defined here. 9 will be here, then colon will be there, so colon is here, then 45 is here, then after that another colon is here. Okay, so another colon, and the last thing, the seconds value. So instead of colon, if I write here like x, okay, here also I write x, so what will be printed is 9 x 45 x 00. So however I want, I can print it in that way. For the modification purpose, like however I want, I should print, for that possibility I'm using str. By using str, you can print in what way you want. Okay, so that's what the str method is used. Write the definition for both init and str and give an example. Okay, and that's about the module 4. And coming to module 5, there are two things which you can go with, because in most of the papers this is what the pattern which I found. And the pattern is that either they can ask in or along with HTML. HTML has two things, BeautifulSoup and request. So study HTML along with Excel and Selenium. Okay, this is just based on the previous year patterns. Okay, I cannot guarantee for the what can come in future. It can change as well. Okay, so either study HTML with Excel and Selenium, or PDF with JSON and CSV. Another is the doc, so it just repeated once in the previous year papers, so you can skip for the skip that for now, but it's a small topic, you can go that if you have time. Okay, so these are the two things, part A and part B. Either study this one or this one. Okay, so in part A, what you have, these are the questions under the topic HTML and BeautifulSoup request. These three things combined together: HTML, BeautifulSoup and request. What I mean is, it can come in different question as well, but this is the part of the same topic. HTML has two topics, BeautifulSoup and request. These two are the modules. So what question can come in these two, that we will be discussing now. Okay, so the question which can be asked in HTML is, firstly, what is web scraping? The definition you have to write. How to download files from the web, that's the first thing. Check the error, second thing. Save the downloaded file to the hard drive with request module in Python. Three things are there. How to download the files, check the error, and save the downloaded files to the hard drive. And what is web scraping, you have to define. Okay, so the marks distribution is 6 marks. So firstly, write what is web scraping. Web scraping is a term used for using a program to download the processed content from the web. Web scraping means downloading the web content using a module, means Python code. Okay, so what I mean is, let me give an example. This is the web page, and you have a code here. If you run this code, what will happen is, it will fetch all the contents present in the web page, and that will be stored locally in your device. Okay, that is known as web scraping. And for example, Google runs on many web scraping programs to index the web pages for its search engine. Okay, so how do you write is that firstly you will write import request, because request module is to be used. Then res will store the result, and here you will specify the URL. Specify the URL using the request.get method and store that answer in result. So what does result have? Result has the request module's response message. Okay, so you'll be checking the code if it's okay or not. If it's true, it's okay. Then result.text, what is the text value of it? It has 17891, and if you do this one, it will print all the values present in the text. That's how you download the files. Okay, specify the URL, and that will get downloaded in the specified variable here. After downloading the file, if you want to check the errors, a simple way is to check for the success is to call the raise for status. This is the main method used for checking the errors. So this is the URL which I have fetched. So if it is true, it will this raise for status will be true, else it will be false. Okay. And the last one which they have asked is to store the downloaded files to the hard drive. So to download the download the files, what does downloading mean? Downloading means, suppose that you have an image here, okay, and you have some text here. Downloading means what? Copying these files from the web to your local device. That's what means in the, basically that's what happens, okay. At a deeper level, that's what happens. You have an image and text here that is getting copied to your device, isn't it? That only means downloading, right? So what we'll be doing, we'll be fetching the text from here and we'll be writing the text to the hard drive. 2 steps: get the text and write the text to the hard drive. So for that, directly download is not possible. You have to just fetch the content and write to the hard drive. So how will you do that is, to write the web page for to a file, you can run the for loop with the response object, okay. So which method we are using? Iter content. This is defined as follows: import requests, okay. First you'll import request and you'll get the URL here, it will be stored here. After that, raise for status, check if it is correct or not. If it's correct, move further. Then you are fetching a text from here, from the website, which is play file. Means you are creating an object for the file. This is the file, create an object play file for it. After that, for chunk in result.iteration content. So this is the total size of the file and each chunk will be selected first. Selecting each chunk from the chunk 1, chunk 2 and chunk 3 and so on. So each chunk you are selecting and writing to the play file. Play file is an object used for writing, and which is the file associated with the object? Romeo and Juliet. So Romeo and Juliet is the file that will be stored in the hard drive. And by using the chunk values from the web, this is the web, you are getting a chunk value and writing here, another chunk value you are writing here. Writing with what? Play file object, okay, because object can only be used for writing and reading the files. After that, you have written the after you have written the whole, the output will be like what is the content of the file, okay. If the content of Romeo and Juliet is this much, the same, that means all the values have been fetched from the web to the hard drive, okay. And this is the definition of what I have recently mentioned. Iter content is a method that returns the chunks of the content. Chunks of the content are fetched from the internet and that's returned, okay, in each iteration through the loop. And we can specify how much chunk, means how many bytes each chunk will contain. Based on that, that will be written in each iteration. And this is just the content of how much we are writing. And the file Romeo and Juliet now exists in the current working directory. And note that while the file name is on the website was page 1112.txt, the file on your device will have a different file name. Different file name because what we specified here, that file name will be written, okay. So yeah, that's all what you have to mention here: how to check for the errors, downloading the file and saving the file in the hard drive, and what is web scraping, okay. And the next question is how to explain in details how to parse HTML with the BeautifulSoup, okay. Parse HTML with the BeautifulSoup. Now let's discuss what is the BeautifulSoup module, okay. So BeautifulSoup module is used for extracting information from a HTML page. Means the tags are used, right? In between the tags, what is the content that is fetched? What I mean is, for example, if you have a tag here and you have a h reference here and /a is here, so if you want to fetch this one, you'll be using BeautifulSoup. So if this is the web page here, and in BeautifulSoup we'll be using, it will see where all these tags are there. It will mark a point here and this tag is ending at this point, and whatever is between these 2 points, that will be fetched and stored in your device. That's how the BeautifulSoup works. And the module name is BS4, okay, BeautifulSoup version 4. So after writing a brief information regarding what is BeautifulSoup, next you have to move to the example part, okay. In example part, this is the example HTML. Here you have a HTML head and title. Title is the website and the body has means the p tag. Inside the p tag, download my Python book, and the URL is given in between the a tags here. And after that, the next one is the slogan: learn Python the easy way. Here is another p class, and after that, at last, and means the last p tag we have by author A.L. Swigert, okay. So how many p tags we have? The first one, second one and third one. So 3 p tags we have, okay. So to create a BeautifulSoup and fetch the values, what we'll do, first we'll import request and bs4. Example file will create the object associated with the example.html. It is a file. Always we need an object to perform the operations, so we are creating an object of it, okay. And example soup is nothing but bs4.beautifulsoup example file. So example file will be associated with example soup here, because this is an object for file. We need an object for beautiful soup. So for that we are associating this file with, the file object with beautiful soup. Okay, then the type of this is obviously like beautiful soup here, and this for the creating of beautiful soup object from HTML. Okay, so by using beautiful soup you can fetch the other values, like specifying what is the tag here, which tag in between what you want to fetch, that will be specified in the extraction. Okay, along with HTML, the next one was the Selenium and Excel. So let's see what is the Selenium. The question which asked is webdrive methods for finding elements. This one question. Another question is the mouse clicks and keyboard clicks. Okay, mouse click and keyboard click, this is also very important. Okay, so go through that, and this answer I have mentioned in the other video. The link is in the description box, so make sure you solve both of these questions. Okay, so what we have to do is, what are the methods? Importing the WebDriver and opening the URL. Okay, so first step is to import the WebDriver. This is the module, means the package inside the Selenium module. From Selenium import a WebDriver. After that, to open the browser you will be using webdriver.firefox. That will open the browser, and after you have opened the browser, and you will be finding the elements on the page. How you will be finding elements is by using these functions. Browser.find element by class name, either by class name or CSS selector, or by ID, or by link text. Okay, so you have to write this and give an example for any of these. Okay, the next one is the Excel spreadsheet in Python, explain briefly. So write about Excel here. What is Excel? It's a popular spreadsheet application, and the OpenPy Excel is a module in Python which used to read and write and modify the Excel spreadsheet files. Okay, after writing this definition you have to write the functions used in it. So to open the file using OpenPy Excel, import OpenPy Excel. OpenPy Excel.load workbook, the workbook name means Excel spreadsheet, that name specify here, and load workbook will load that file and store in WB. Okay, that is for opening the Excel documents. To get the sheets, what you will do, after opening the file here in WB, and you will get the names here like sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3. Specify the name with the function get sheet name, so you'll get a sheet here, and you can get the cells as well by like sheet 1 of what is the cell name like A1, and then you'll get the value also. For that you have to use dot value. Okay, and the next one is about getting the cells from the sheet. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, sheet A1 dot value, so you'll get the values as well. Okay, and coming to the next part, which is about the PDF and JSON CSV. Here we have the questions regarding PDF as well as JSON and CSV. So PDF, firstly you need to be thorough with these functions: extracting text, decrypting, creating, copying pages and encrypting PDFs. Okay, so what is PDF? Write the definition of it: portable document format, and it's used .pdf extension. And extracting text from it, the first question which they have asked, extracting text from it. So to extract the text from it, import pypdf2. This is the module in Python which we'll be using, pypdf2. And firstly we'll be opening the PDF here. The functions cannot be performed directly on PDF, therefore we need the file object. So file object is PDF file object. After that you have created file object. If you want to read the content, you will be using PDF file reader and create a reader object. Okay, after that the reader object will output the number of pages and get the page 0 or whatever page you want to get. You can store it in a page object and then extract the text to read the content of it. Decrypting means you will be unlocking it. So to unlocking it you will be using the function which is .decrypt, but before that first import the module here, and from the module open the file here and check if the file is encrypted. If it's true, we have to decrypt it. Get the page which you want to decrypt. After that write pdf reader dot decrypt, means the code you have to write here. If it's true it will output, else it will show an error. Okay, so what you did here, you are decrypting using pdf reader. Okay, always remember you are decrypting using pdf reader. So pdf reader is nothing but an object of file reader. First open the file, create an object of it, then create a reader object of it, then in reader object everything means the things will be performed. Decrypting for what? Reading, right? So you have to create a reader object of it. The same thing goes for the encryption as well. We will come to that. Before that, let's see how to create the PDF. Creating PDF is not like we are just entering the text to write. That's not possible in the PDF. We have to copy the pages. Okay, so for copying pages we need to have an existing PDF. Okay, So creating and copying pages, the code is same. So firstly you need to have one page, means one PDF, from which you will be copying to another PDF. Let's call PDF1 and PDF2. So copying from PDF1 to what? PDF2. Okay, so here we will have the meeting minutes. This is the first PDF from which you are copying. So this is PDF1 file, this is PDF2 file. So two PDF file objects you have created. Since we need to read the objects, means the read the PDF file, we are creating the reader object also. PDF1 files reader object, PDF1 reader, PDF2 files reader object, PDF2 reader. Then you are writing it. For writer, which file you are writing to? We are writing the file to the means we are just creating, we are not specifying anything. Okay, just a writer is created. Okay, after that we are using the for loop. In the for loop we are means going through the PDF1 reader, because from PDF1 we have to write to PDF2. So each page we are fetching from this one. So each page is getting fetched by using get page, and the page number, which is the page number in each page, we are reading it, means getting each page and storing here, and that page is getting written in the PDF writer. By using PDF writer we are writing each page. Okay, we are getting this pages from here. Using PDF writer we are writing this each page here. Okay, then PDF output file will be nothing but open a new file, write the content of PDF write to a new file here and close it, and in the PDF output file you will have the new means here you will have the file content, means the combined PDF. Okay, that was about the copying, creating and copying pages. Coming to encrypting PDF, encrypting means locking it. Okay, so import PyPDF2, create a file object of it. Since you have to write also, we will be creating both read and write here, and the reader and writer object is here. After that, read the pages here and take each page and write that page. Okay, get the page and write that page. After I've written that page, after the function is over, all the pages are written, what you are supposed to do is you have to encrypt it. Write pdf writer dot encrypt rows. Okay, means the code word which you have to use to encrypt it, you can write there. And for decrypting, PDF reader. Okay, for decrypting it is PDF reader, for encrypting it is PDF writer. Okay, remember this one. And the result PDF will be stored here. The means what is the PDF writer is there, so that has stored all the pages here, and that will be stored in a PDF called encrypted minutes. Okay, then write the encrypted minutes in the result PDF and close it. Okay, so you will have an encrypted PDF. Coming to CSV and JSON, what is CSV and JSON is the first question. Explain with an example the usage of JSON module. Okay, CSV can also be asked, equally important, but the question was this one, so I have included here. Okay, so for any topic, if you want more information, I have discussed in depth in the video which I put the link in the description box, so you can go to that. Okay, so what is CSV and JSON? CSV means comma separated values, and JSON means JavaScript object notation language. Okay, so Python comes with a special CSV and JSON modules providing functions to help you with work with these file formats. Two file formats, CSV and JSON. Okay, so Python has some modules which we can use to work with the CSV file and JSON files. Okay, CSV stands for comma separated values, and they are simplified spreadsheets stored as plain text files. Okay, so to give you a brief information of how CSV works, so let's see a Excel spreadsheet here. So CSV is closely related to spreadsheet here. So here you'll have like name, age, and gender and phone number. So here you'll have some values for each row, right? First student, second student, third student, so on. Okay, so comma separated values, what it will do, it will fetch this row, and these 4 dots are there, right? Those values, so that will be stored as a comma separated value. Like that, it will be stored in the first line, second line in the comma form. Okay, so that's how the CSV works. So that's why it is called as comma separated values. So Python CSV model makes it easy to parse the CSV files. Okay, coming to JSON, JSON is the JavaScript object notation. You don't need to know the JavaScript programming language to use JSON, because JSON is just used for the storage purpose. Okay, so JSON format is useful to know because it's used in many web applications. So let's see how the JSON works and how to transfer the data in the JSON format. Okay, so reading the JSON with the loads function. Two functions are there. First is the loads function, and second is the dumps function. Okay, so let's see what do these functions mean and how to use it. Okay, so here's a string. Okay, just a sample string which has a dictionary. Okay, a dictionary which is stored as a string here. So if you import JSON and write a JSON data as Python value, this is the variable name, JSON.loads string of JSON. Okay, so it will convert the string here into the Python value. As a Python value, it will be converted. Like means how dictionary is there in Python, right? Dictionary will be stored without the string value, right? So it will be converted to Python value. Just as a dictionary, it will be stored. So JSON data as Python value is a dictionary now, which has these values. Now if you want to convert a dictionary value into a string value, you will be using dumps function. So Python's value is this one. This is a dictionary here. So this dictionary is to be converted to a string. So we'll be using JSON. Okay. So import JSON will be here. Then string of a JSON data, JSON dot dumps Python value. Python value is a dictionary. Dictionary is getting stored here, and that is getting dumped here as a string. Okay. So string is stored as here. Okay. So this is a string after you have converted the Python value to the string value. Okay. If you have any doubt in any of the questions, feel free to message me on Instagram. If I have time, I'll reply to you. And make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.